what's clear is that they didn't show the engine power through any of the practice because there's the whole talk of compression ratio, and they've obviously done a really solid job with their engine, which we have as well. But it would be interesting I want to understand why it's like 0.2 or more just through power per sector. And so if it is a compression thing, I want to understand why the FIA haven't done anything and what's being done to rectify it. But if it's not, and it's just pure pet, then we have to do it better.
Lewis Hamilton may have just said the quiet part out loud. After Mercedes stormed through the opening phase of the 2026 season, Hamilton looked at the gap, looked at Ferrari's weaknesses, and then pointed straight at the one area nobody inside Maranello can afford to ignore anymore: power. Because right now, this title fight might not depend on who has the better all-round car. It might depend on who fixes the engine problem first. And that's where this story gets serious. Mercedes have opened the season like a machine. Race wins, front row pace, and a championship lead that already looks uncomfortable for the teams chasing them. Ferrari, meanwhile, haven't collapsed, but they also haven't landed a proper blow yet. They've been hanging around, collecting decent results, staying visible, but never quite looking fast enough to control a weekend from start to finish. And according to the source, that's exactly why Miami matters so much. Ferrari are not treating this as just another round. They're treating it like a turning point. The source claims Ferrari are arriving with what was described as a package and a half. Not one upgrade, but multiple planned developments stacked together and brought forward into one decisive moment. That includes energy management changes aimed at the clipping problem on the straights, major aero work, and a private Monza run used to test parts away from the spotlight. But the biggest twist is not the upgrade itself. It's the suggestion that Ferrari may already have the better chassis in key parts of the lap. That's where Kimi Antonelli's name enters the conversation. When the source frames one of Antonelli's comments as a quiet leak, an indirect admission that Ferrari may actually be stronger through the corners, while Mercedes' real edge comes from raw power and straight-line performance. If that reading is correct, then Ferrari are much closer than the results currently suggest. And if Ferrari close even part of that power deficit, this championship could change very quickly. That is why Miami is being sold as such a major moment. The source says that Ferrari tested key ideas at Monza with a special focus on straight-line recovery and active aero concepts. There's also mention of an additional development path for underperforming power units, and a rear wing concept that the source dramatically calls the Macarena wing. The claim is that Ferrari believe the right combination of these changes could unlock major lap time. Ferrari are no longer being framed as a team waiting for 2027. They're being framed as a team trying to hit back right now. And Hamilton knows exactly how little time Ferrari can waste. That's why the source leans so hard into his warning tone. He is not speaking like a driver happy with podiums. He is speaking like someone who believes the opportunity is still alive, but only if Ferrari solve the one weakness that is stopping them from turning decent pace into winning pace. The source then drifts into a wider Hamilton section, covering his difficult Ferrari adaptation period, his rebound in 2026, to questions over internal hierarchy with Charles Leclerc, and even a rumor about his future. Hamilton is being positioned not as a fading star, but as a driver who feels a real opening. And then comes the darker part of the video. Because the source doesn't just argue Ferrari can improve, it also argues Mercedes may already be benefiting from something Ferrari and others are deeply unhappy about. The video pivots into allegations around a compression ratio loophole under the 2026 engine rules. The narrator claims Mercedes may have found a way to remain compliant under one set of checks while unlocking more when temperatures rise in real running. The source pushes that theory hard, connecting it to a possible horsepower gain and using Hamilton's own public comments about Mercedes' sector power as fuel for the argument. That is a huge claim. Ferrari believe Mercedes' advantage is not just clean execution, but something technical that deserves closer attention. And that changes the shape of the title fight. Because if Mercedes are simply better, Ferrari need a miracle. But if Ferrari already have a stronger car in the corners, if Miami really does bring the upgrade they need, and if Mercedes' biggest edge becomes the subject of heavier scrutiny, then the gap between these two teams may be much smaller than the standings make it look. That's the real takeaway from this source. Not that Ferrari have already caught Mercedes, but that the first three races may have hidden how fragile Mercedes' control could actually be. Hamilton sees it. Ferrari believe it. Antonelli may have hinted at it. And Miami could be the weekend where all of it finally gets tested for real. So if Ferrari show up faster on the straights, cleaner on deployment, and more complete over a lap, then this championship stops being a coronation and starts becoming a fight. And if that happens, Mercedes won't just be defending a lead. They'll be defending the whole story of how they built it in the first place.